Hi friends, it's Jana Eubank for the Hip Kit Club, and I have one more April 2023 kit layout to share with you today before I move on to the beautiful May kits. Now this past week, the design team has been scrap lifting one another, and so I'm going to do a little bit of that today, also combined with focusing on a product. Now the design team member that I have that caught my eye was a layout by Sophie Delorme, where she layered together a bunch of the tags from the main kit that she cut out from one of the papers. So I want to do that today on my layout. So I'm not necessarily copying or scrap lifting her entire layout, but more of a concept. And so think of that when you're looking for things to scrap lift. You can scrap lift titles, you can scrap lift, even just the way somebody journals, you can scrap lift a certain concept. And so that's what I'm doing on this layout today. Now the photos that I'm working with are these two summer photos of my daughter. She was at a girls camp and they had a pool. They also had a pond where they could play with a bunch of water toys, and she really loved that. So I wanted to document those photos. I love the April 2023 kits because they feel so summery to me. I know it was a springtime type kit, but the purples, the pinks, the yellows just kind of remind me of those fun summer colors. I especially loved this paper that had the blue wash of paint across the bottom, and it reminded me of water. And so I thought it would be a good way to naturally anchor these two photos and also nod to the theme of a water themed page. So here's where I've cut out all those tags. I just layered up my two photos together on one strip of paper and then layered up some cardstocks behind it. And now I'm taking all of those tags and I'm doing what Sophie did, and I'm layering them together in a shingle style pattern. So where they're overlapping each other, but they're at different heights. And so be sure to check out Sophie's page. I will link that in the description below. So I'm just going ahead and getting these situated. Now I'm trying to find a nice balance of colors with the purples in a couple of different places, as well as the blue and the pink. I'm also paying attention to the color of the printed hole reinforcement. You can see that there's the tomato red, the yellow, the purples. So I'm trying to have a nice distribution of those as well. Now at first I was just going to do the two top rows, but I decided to add in a third row here, and I'm just cutting those tags in half just to make them easier to stick behind that row of photos, since I've already adhered that to the page. Now the next thing I wanted to do is add lots of texture to these tags, and the way I'm doing that is by using different weights or thicknesses of the white twine, and I'm also tying them all in a slightly different fashion. So I have some thin twines, some thicker twines, and some that are a little more stiff. It's like, papery feeling, I guess would be the word, almost like I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like a raffia. Yeah, like a raffia, like it has a different texture to it. So they all lay a little bit different. I tied some bows on some of them. I tied some loops on others, and I just love that fringy effect that it created along with those layered tags. So that was a lot of fun to do. Now, most of the products I'm pulling in here are from the main kit, with the exception of the cardstock, and then I will pull in a few things from the embellishment kit later. But that tag paper was in the main kit. Of course, the cardstocks weren't, but you want to pick those up. They're so gorgeous. And then now these fabric flowers are also from the main kit. I love this package. I use these on several of my layouts this month, and I want to use up this pack. So I'm trying to pile on as many flowers as I can, but I still have a few left over, which is awesome. So I'm going to create these two flower clusters on my row of photos. I'm going to put one cluster in the top left corner and then the other in the center. And that's because I'm going to be placing my title in the bottom right corner of the page. So these floral clusters will almost lead your eye down through the photos down to that title in a diagonal line. I did go ahead and cut out some leaves from the cornflower cardstock, and the die that I used was the leaf die from the hoop and floral die. That was from February. Love this leaf. It's so cute. It's got these the lines that cut into the paper to create the veins of the leaf, and it's so pretty. Now here I'm not using green leaves. I'm using the cornflower cardstock to match the colors of my layout, and I think that's really pretty. I also pulled in the newsprint type leaves that were in the flower pack as well, and I love the variety that adds there. Here I'm pulling in the navy chipboard letters from the main kit to create my title. I'm just keeping it simple with water fun, and now I'm going through the die cuts that came with the main kit to see what might work for this page. I have 2 embellishment clusters going already with those floral clusters, and I want to create a third cluster in the top right corner of my photo strip there. So I'm just sifting through the and sorting through those die cuts to see what might work, and that will take me a minute. Now I didn't want to add a third floral cluster to that top right corner because it just would feel like too many flowers. So I'm going to do something different up there. Now I did come across this phrase that said, "More life, less rush, you've got time." And I just thought that phrase would be perfect for these photos of my daughter just kicking back and relaxing in the summer sun. So I am going to use that. I place it a few different places, but it does end up where it is right now, which is to the bottom left of those flowers. The shape of the phrase just fit really nicely between those leaves, and I'm going to anchor it with that light blue or light aqua colored postmark die cut there. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. You will see me move it around a bit to see if I want to, place it over by the title or, just kind of auditioning it in a few different places. And, but I decide that is where I'm going to put my journaling. So I will end up, again, putting it back over by the flower cluster. I'm going to turn my attention over to this third embellishment cluster in the top right corner of the photos. And I've decided to use this postage stamp die cut. And then I'm going to layer some of the heart die cuts on top of it. Now on the chipboard frame pack that also comes in the main kit are these teeny tiny chipboard hearts. They're so cute. So I decided to layer those on top of the die cuts there, and then I added a phrase across the bottom of that postage stamp. I placed that navy phrase in the upper left corner with the flowers, which I think carries that navy color across the page nicely. And then I created another embellishment cluster of die cuts to the right of the title, so that just to balance the colors and also have a variety of shapes around. Now these teeny tiny flowers were what I pulled from the embellishment kit. They're from the flower die cut pack, and I just added a few of those to tie into the flowers. I'm going to also add a puffy phrase here from the embellishment kit. There will be one in the upper left corner, and then I do add a teal one over to the right of the title. I go back and add some more of these chipboard hearts to each of the different clusters just to tie everything together with the chipboard hearts that are by the postage stamp. And then I will add the journaling, some computer generated journaling strips by the left side of the title. And then that completes it. This page was so much fun to put together. I love the way that those layered tags turned out, and I want to thank Sophie for inspiring me to do that on this page. All right, guys, have you picked up your May kits yet from the Hip Kit Club? They are shipping now, so be sure to grab yours and order all of the different add-ons that you like, or better yet, subscribe to the kit. My name is Jana Eubank for Hip Kit Club. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.